What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, the Fantasy Football Almanac, back at it with another Best Ball Draft video. Today we're hopping Best Ball Mania 3. We only have less than 2 weeks left until football starts. I know, it's close, it's getting exciting. We got the fourth pick now. We're going to be hopping as many of these drafts as we possibly can, at least trying to get one or two in every single day. That's how fun they are. We are at, let me check the exact amount of entrants. 366,000 current entries out of 451,000. So it is getting fairly close. We are 80% filled. So hop in as many of these as you can. Hey guys, if you do enjoy these type of best ball videos, please go down, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really, really would mean the world to me. But here we got the fourth pick, meaning we're either going to end up with Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. The reason why I'm taking both these guys over Cooper Kupp now at this point is because Jamar Chase, when you think about it, I mean, this is the type of wide receiver who has the ceiling to drop 50 points in a game. Cooper Kupp's great. I mean, he can probably do that as well. So can Justin Jefferson. But Jamar Chase is that boom bust type wide receiver that can have 266 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game, which he's done before. So that's why I'm taking Jamar Chase here, because if he is to do something like that in the championship during the championship week, you pretty much win your league because of that. So I think Jamar Chase is the pick here now. I think he's the guy I am taking it for the most part every time. Uh, and his ceiling, I mean, he can only go up, not only go up, obviously, but the the arrow for Jamar Chase is pointing up at this current moment. So that's why I really like Jamar Chase. I mean, 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns is already pretty good. And that's your rookie season. Yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, pick fifth overall, has Joe Burrow, should get more target share this season. I think Jamar Chase is going to be an absolute stud this season. Either way, though, we got a pretty standard draft. Other than that, I've seen Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor come off the board at 1 and 2 as usual. Justin Jefferson at 3. We make the pick at Jamar Chase at 4. Cooper Kupp comes off 5. Then we have Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler at 6 and 7. Pretty usual. Stephon Diggs at 8. Dalvin Cook at 9. Mixon at 10. Najee at 11. Very, very standard draft here. We are most likely going to be getting a wide receiver here. Saquon Barkley going all the way up to pick 14.3. Not hard to see why. I mean, people over the course of the offseason, people tend to forget injuries and everything like that. That's why Christian McCaffrey's going 1, Saquon Barkley's going 14. But I think, realistically, if you're making a case that, oh, Christian McCaffrey should go 1, blah, 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 and Christian McCaffrey should go 2, you should be pretty high on Saquon Barkley. I mean, I'm taking him in my top 12 now. I was already pretty high on him. I was already really high on him. I have him right now as my running back 8. And Alvin Kamara is my running back 9. I think both these guys are fabulous at this point. I mean, I've been getting higher and higher on Kamara. Now that the situation with his legal hearing has gotten postponed. But here we are in a situation. I mean, Debo I'd be fine with. Javonte I'd be fine with. Both of these guys I think I would realistically be happy with here. We are 3 picks away, so either of these guys could fall to us. DeAndre Swift as well would be nice. As long as we got one reach here. Let's say somebody likes a Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans a little bit more. We'll see. DeAndre Swift has come off the board, though. So we'll see. But I think Debo's a guy being overhated because he's due to regress. And yes, he is due to regress. I mean, this is impossible. 59 attempts, 365 yards, 8 touchdowns, nearly impossible. But at the same time, 6 touchdowns on 1,400 rushing yards. Receiving yards, sorry, that's low. I mean, I think he's due for positive regression in that category. Sure, he will have less overall receiving yards, I think, but still, I mean, I think Deebo Samuel is a really good pick where he's going. They obviously know how to use him. They like to use him in that offense. I would take Deebo here. That's my hope is that Deebo makes it to me, but he does not. So we're gonna go with Javonte here. A guy that if Melvin Gordon goes down is a top 5 pick. So that's pretty much what you're betting here with Javonte, is that Melvin Gordon goes down. Mark Andrews is a guy who has been falling and falling and falling, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if he makes it back to us pick 28. I mean, that would just make my day, my night, my week. Probably not going to happen, though. If not, I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette or Nick Chubb. We do want a second of these running backs. Mike Evans will be nice as well. There's a lot of players here that we like, but we might get sniped on all of them because there is 3 guys that we really, really like. Whereas that we are 5 picks away. The one thing that will leave me happy is the fact that these experienced people, they really like A.J. Brown. And yes, I think A.J. Brown's a very, very talented wide receiver. Absurdly talented as a wide receiver. But at the same time, he's going to the most run-heavy offense in the entire NFL. It is a little bit concerning when you see that. And also, he's competing for targets with Devonta Smith. He's competing for targets with Dallas Goedert. I mean, AJ Brown will get hits, that's for sure. There will be some weeks where he makes me look absolutely stupid for my take on AJ Brown, but I can't trust him in a run-first offense like this. It's the same thing. I have the same problem with Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper's going a lot later. I have the same problem with a lot of these guys. It really is just pretty concerning. We are potentially going to end up with Leonard Fournette, especially now with Kyle Pitts off the board. Kyle Pitts, a guy who is surging up these draft boards. I mean, it's actually crazy how much he is. He will definitely have a step up going into his second year now. But, I don't know. I'm a little concerned. I think he should get the volume, and his touchdowns will obviously go up. I think in Dynasty, I mean, he's the #1 tight end. It's not even close. He's a top 5 Dynasty player. But I am a little concerned he's being a tiny bit overdrafted now at this point. We do have Mike Evans coming off the board, though. I mean, I would gladly take Leonard Fournette here. I think Leonard Fournette's a guy who's, yes, okay, A.J. Brown comes off the board. I think Leonard Fournette's a guy who has been falling down these draft boards quite a bit because of the news. I mean, Tom Brady missing 11 days of camp, a lot of O-line going down. And yeah, that's true. Leonard Fournette, really, really efficient in the receiving game, and I will gladly take that out of my running back too. And if Javonte does have Melvin Gordon go down, this team is insane. I mean, and if Jamar Chase has T. Higgins go down, this team is ridiculous. So, I mean, both of these situations I'm pretty happy with. I normally don't go with 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver. I usually like a pretty wide receiver focused build here. Usually, unless I'm at the turn, in which case I like getting Joe Mixon and Saquon. I think that's a fine combination of players. But either way, right now, Keenan Allen's still on the board, Mike Williams, Courtland Sutton, all guys I would be fine with going here. Travis Etienne's still on the board as well. A guy I'd be fine with going, Josh Allen. But at 45, we're most likely going to be ending up with players like Breece Hall. In terms of running back, at wide receiver, guys like Juju Smith. Juju Smith soaring up these boards here. Wow. He's a guy I have been getting higher and higher on. I actually have him as my wide receiver 19 right now. He's a guy I do really like. Hollywood Brown, going down these boards, actually. Hollywood Brown's a guy I really like this year, and I don't get why he's soaring down as much as he is. Hollywood Brown, going into a situation that's much, much, much better for him. I mean, Lamar is an accurate deep ball guy, sure. But Kyler Murray was, 1, his quarterback in college, and 2, a deep ball aficionado. I mean, Kyler Murray on the deep ball was absolutely insane. That doesn't even mention that for the first 6 weeks of the season, Marquise Hollywood Brown has no competition for targets. I mean, it's him, Rondale Moore, and A.J. Green. How concerned are you about any of these guys? Zach Ertz has been injured recently, so you figured Trey McBride will come in and steal a little bit of volume in his rookie year, but not much. I mean, I'm not really worried. Holy crap, this guy goes 4 RBs. He's not taking another running back for the rest of the draft. It is good, though, that we get 2 RBs here because it is going to push running backs up the board just a little bit. Knowing somebody has 4 RBs, you're going to have to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more wary. And these wide receivers get pushed down the board a bit. There's a ton of guys I like here. We are 4 picks away. If I'm taking anybody, it would have been Gabe Davis here, but I don't. Yeah, he didn't make it back to us. Just because Gabe Davis' upside is absolutely insane. But I'm fine with any of these guys. I will take a Waddle here. I will take a Hollywood. I'll take a Juju. We are 3 picks away, so I'll take any of these guys. We have George Kittle off the board as well. I mean, if I had to pick one of these guys, I would pick Hollywood. This guy's got 3 wide receivers already, and they're absolutely insane. So we'll see if he goes another wide receiver here. But this wide receiver core is freaking ridiculous here. And he doesn't have to complain at all. We get Hollywood Brown, though, which is pretty nice. I will gladly take Hollywood Brown. Meaning we have our running backs pretty set. We have our wide receivers pretty set. And both these guys, Marquise and Jamar Chase, are both deep ball guys. So I'm fine with it. I would like to get Deontay, Lamar, one of these 2 dudes. In the next round, we are 4 picks away. So hopefully we get a couple of these quarterbacks off the board. I'm fine going somebody like... I mean, I imagine if this guy takes George Kittle here, he's probably going to want to take... what's his name? He's probably going to take Trey Lance here. Most likely. I mean, that would be my guess. This guy doubles up Lamar and Rashad. Fine pickups there. Deontay coming off the board. I mean, maybe Chris Godwin here is the pick. I don't really want Mahomes here. Honestly, I'm not a big fan. So I'm good picking up Godwin here. A guy I do like around his current ADP. But it is good. We get 3 pretty talented wide receivers here. Then in the next round, I mean, Jalen Hurts would be my dream. Kyler Murray would be nice as well because we do have Marquise Hollywood. Uh, the only reason I like Jalen Hurts more than any of these guys, though, is because Jalen Hurts is the type of quarterback that can produce on his own without uh, any other wide receivers. I mean, his game is predicated on the run. You can say the same thing about Kyler's, but it's to a way lesser degree. They already paid Kyler. Kyler doesn't have to run. They paid him. Jalen Hurts has to run for his job. That's why I like Jalen Hurts so much this year. That alongside the fact that he's the best O-line in the NFL. A.J. Brown coming in, and he was already the quarterback 6 on a points per game basis last season. I mean, how much better can it get than that? That's why I really like Jalen Hurts. He's my second most owned quarterback in best ball drafts right now. I think the philosophy on him is actually insane. I mean, I'm his top 3 quarterback, and he's coming off the board as the quarterback 5 before coming off as the quarterback 6. I'm fine getting Jalen Hurts absolutely anywhere. I think he's a phenomenal pick where he's going. And he's pretty much going at the top of drafts. So I think he's a phenomenal quarterback here. I mean, one of the best quarterbacks, pretty much a can't miss player, and a guy who only had 16 touchdowns last year, yes. But he also had 10 rushing touchdowns, which count for more. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be an absolute beast. This guy's got a pretty well-rounded team. Can't say I love it, but it's an interesting team. He did get Mike Williams at a pretty big value, though, which is interesting to see. We still do have Kyler Murray on the board, though. We could end up getting a Kyler here, potentially. We got Dillon on the board, Montgomery on the board. I'm fine with either of these guys. Lazard we could even go with here. Lazard's a guy I really, really like, and I don't think he'll make it back to us. He's a guy I'm really jumping on. That Montgomery, if Montgomery makes it to us here, I mean, I would be ecstatic. I think Montgomery over A.J. Dillon any day of the week. Here, I mean, at least me personally, Brandon Ayuk in the final preseason game received 20 of the 22 starting snaps. Khalil Herbert got 2. So David Montgomery is going to be the starting guy here, and he's going way lower than any starting guy really should. Same thing with Elijah Mitchell, but David Montgomery actually gets passing volume here. He was on pace for 70 targets each of the last 2 seasons. Obviously, last season he dealt with an injury, only played 13 games, but I mean, still he was on pace for a similar amount of receptions here. Sure, the offense is pretty awful, but Lazard coming off the board at 64 now. That's a little disappointing. We do have 2 guys we really like here. 3 guys we really like here. I'm fine with A.J. Dillon as well. We do have 3 guys we really like here, though. So, and we are 3 picks away. I guess if I were to choose one, I would want Montgomery because Trey Lance still is on the board. We could potentially, I'm not saying it's likely, but potentially have Trey Lance fall back to us. Especially, okay, so Kyler Murray's up the board. This guy's got 4 wide receivers here, so I imagine he goes running back. Maybe he goes Trey Lance here. But I'm fine with either of these guys, whether it be Lance or Montgomery. I can't really be mad either way. Also, Trey Lance didn't even mention this today. Just came out yesterday that Jimmy Garoppolo resigns with the 49ers. So honestly, Trey Lance might be falling down these boards a little bit, which I think is good. I mean, honestly, it's great because like Trey Lance is the starter. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind. They brought back in Jimmy Garoppolo not as a guy who's gonna steal volume as a starter. He's just not. I mean, I just don't believe it at all. They tried to ship him the entire offseason. But now, I mean, they're bringing him back because they had no trade partners whatsoever. Nobody wanted to take on that Jimmy G contract. He had shoulder surgery. This is not a guy people wanted to bring back on. So it makes sense why Trey Lance is still a starter. I mean, there's probably no chance he gets benched this season. Why would you bench a guy that you put 3 first-round picks into? You want to give him that confidence that you're the guy, you're the starter here, Trey Lance here. So that's probably what they're going to do, although it does look like a slight blunder. And I mean, realistically, from a team-building perspective, I should go Jamar Chase, or I should go Joe Burrow because I do have Jamar Chase. But Joe Burrow, not a guy who's going to be putting up insane fantasy seasons. I mean, on the back of 118 yards and 142 yards, he's not a rushing QB, really. Not built on something like that. And, I mean, he will have crazy games with Jamar Chase, but Trey Lance will have crazy games on his own. So we are most likely going to be getting Trey Lance here because he is going to be going to a discount now, falling down the boards. So we're going to go Trey Lance. Based off the news that, I mean, there's pretty much no chance Trey Lance doesn't start here, so that's my philosophy on it. I know we got Dalton Schultz and Mark Cooper still on the board. We are 16 picks away now. We do have a pretty good core, just in general, of players. Dalton Schultz and Amari Cooper both come off here. But we do have a really, really good core. We just need to figure it out at tight end. And tight end, I'm fine going Cole Kmet. Wow, soaring up these boards here. I'm fine going Cole Kmet. Late round sleeper for pretty much everybody. Njoku here. Late round sleeper again for pretty much everybody. Hayden Hurst. Late round sleeper, but not for everybody. Hayden Hurst is a guy who's consistently been slept on, in my opinion. A guy who has done it before at the NFL level. Not great, but good. And for a tight end, what more can you ask for? 600 yards and 6 touchdowns, and now enters one of the most electric offenses in the entire NFL. Um, an offense that CJ Uzama saw some crazy boom weeks with. So that's why I really do like Hayden Hurst here. I mean, obviously, all tight ends are shit unless you're getting one of the top 3 guys. All tight ends are terrible. But here, I'm fine taking risks on guys like that. But anyways, if you guys do enjoy this type of video, please go down, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out content all season, like, starts, sits, everything like that. So, if you could, please go down, subscribe. You can always change your mind later. Would mean the world to me. Leave a comment. Let me know some of your biggest sleepers, such as Damian Pierce and George Pickens, 2 huge sleepers, who aren't really sleepers anymore coming into this season. And yeah, give this video a like as well. Would mean the world to me. We do have Tony Pollard still on the board. Clyde's a guy I really definitely like here. Although we do have 3 running backs already, I'm fine picking up Clyde here. A guy who should be the starter. Was the first running back into all 3 games, and Andy Reid likes to play his starters. Not 100% sure if Clyde is strapped for a 3-down role. I don't think we can know that until the season starts. And that's reflected in his ADP. It's definitely reflected in his ADP. Based on the fact that he's going behind a known backup Tony Pollard and Josh Jacobs, who will not be getting receptions despite having receptions last season with all their acquisitions that they brought in. I would rather have Clyde just based on upside rather than these other players here. So if we can get Clyde here as our 4th back, I'm fine with that. And then we don't need another running back for the rest of the draft, which would be actually amazing. We are 93 here, so we would be getting one of these guys at a value. I would be fine taking Jacobs here as well, potentially. But the 2 guys I want are Pollard and Clyde. Realistically. Because, I mean, if you're sitting on the board here and you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like, just why not take him? We are seeing these running back starts pour off, though, so. And these guys these 3 guys all have 1 running back here. Oh, wait, no. These guys both have 1 running back and 0 running backs, so we are going to get sniped here. A little bit unfortunate. We are probably going to take Goddard here. I'm fine with that. I think Goddard's probably the play. Maybe Ramondre could be interesting. Okay, so we are not taking Ramondre. We're going to be taking Dallas Goedert here. I'm totally fine with that. And then potentially Kareem Hunt in the next round. Or Antonio Gibson now. With the unfortunate news that Brian Robinson was actually shot multiple times. Luckily, non-life-threatening. It looks like he is going to be okay. Thank God, prayers out to him and his family, of course. I mean, prayers out to everyone of the Robinson family. But from a football perspective, we are a fantasy football show, so we do have to talk about the football perspective. I mean, this bumps Antonio Gibson up an absolute ton, especially if Antonio Gibson does now get the starting role yet again. I mean, with the starting role that he's had the past 2 seasons, I mean, he was the running back 10 both times. So at this point, if it looks like he's not getting benched here, I think him and J.D. McKissic could be steals here, and I really hate to say that. Him or Kareem Hunt are the 2 guys I kind of like in this range now again. But Antonio Gibson was a guy I formerly did not like with the whole Brian Robinson news. I mean, Brian Robinson looked to pretty much lock up the starting role here. Now Antonio Gibson is back, so at least for the foreseeable future, I mean, gunshots, I really, unfortunately, do not know the timeline. I mean, there's just so many variables that come along with something like that that I can't reasonably say when Brian Robinson will be back. But that's why I think in the meantime, Antonio Gibson could be a value here right now because, I mean, let's say just for instance, for the sake of argument, I mean, I know it's terrible, but from a fantasy football perspective, Brian Robinson misses the whole season. Antonio Gibson instantly becomes a back-end RB1, high-end RB2 yet again. The concerns were volume with Antonio Gibson, never talent. So if they are going to be force-feeding Antonio Gibson here, I mean, I'm going to take him. We are going to be taking some players, though. I mean, Trey Lance had some bad news around him. Antonio Gibson has had bad. He's probably been the biggest faller from someone who was pretty much expected to have a very solid workload this season. but now we're going to be probably taking him here, getting our fourth back. And the main reason why I'm going to do that as well is because, I mean, I don't really like this range for wide receivers. Treylon Burks, a guy who's not even starting right now, not even with the starters. Tyler Lockett, a guy who's talented, but in such a terrible situation. Uh, I would much rather wait for other players in this range. I could go with Rondell Moore here. That would be the other player I'm considering, but I'm probably going to go Gibson and just wait because I think Hawkinson and Cole Kmet are going to be going in similar roles here. So we'll lock up our tight ends in the next round. I'm fine going Gibson here. I think Gibson, fine value. Obviously a risky pick. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. Especially with the whole cloud of mist surrounding him. But now I'm kind of thinking he's a value where he's going. If Brian Robinson misses the whole season, which is awful. Obviously, again, prayers go to the family. Hope that's not the case. Hope that's not the case at all. Lucky the situation wasn't worse. Could have ended up passing away. That didn't happen. Luckily, non-life threatening injuries. So that is good. I hope he's okay. Prayers out to the family yet again. But from a fantasy football perspective, this does make Antonio Gibson a value. Anyways, we do have TJ Hawkinson finally coming off the board at 102, Justin Knox at 104, Derek Carr at 105. What? Wait, are there any good quarterbacks left? Yeah, there are. Stafford's still here. A guy who people are definitely going to be thinking he's a risk. And he is. I mean, he's definitely a risk where he's going, kind of. But at the same time, I mean, you're not going to win a league like this playing safe. You're just not. So I think Matt Stafford's a risk worth taking here, in my opinion, personally. But Matthew Stafford, a viable risk. I mean, I would even be fine going Rodgers here. Like, if I were to double up and go Rodgers and Dobbs, potentially, that would be a really, really interesting combo. Rodgers and Dobbs. If I can even get Dobbs here at 124. Because I have heard news, very unfortunate, that Christian Watson is starting on the bench for the 2022 season. A guy I've owned an absolute ton of here this offseason because I did figure he was going to be the starter, but an injury in the preseason made it so it didn't happen. A little bit unfortunate here. We do have Julio Jones as well. A guy could be interested in here. But I mean, dream pick would be Stafford here. I think dream pick should be Stafford. Especially now with Rodgers off the board here. Yes, Stafford's got to be the move. People are worried about the Stafford elbow. And I am too a bit. But again, you got to take risks to win in a league like this. In a league where you're playing up against 451,000 people. I'm trying to go basically the riskiest picks. Stafford just come off the board though, so we're going to be taking Kmet here. I prefer Kmet over Ertz, to be honest, just because guaranteed volume here. And I know what I was just saying about volume versus big playability. But Cole Kmet, I mean, he's literally the only target in his offense besides Darnell Mooney. And Justin Fields has looked really, really good so far. If Justin Fields steps up and does look better, Cole Kmet does come off the board though. That is painful, very, very painful. We're going to go Romeo Dobbs here. Just to screw everyone else, I really just want Romeo Dobbs. I'm good with that. We're probably going to get another wide receiver here. I would have loved to have gotten Cole Kmet, Justin Fields combo. Doesn't happen though. Actually, I might just go Justin Fields anyways here, even though we don't have a combination. Just because I've honestly been raising a pretty high amount on Justin Fields. I mean, he does have crazy good rushing upside, rushing for 420 yards last year without even playing a full season. Has been looking a lot better in preseason. So I'm pretty sure that's who I'm going to go here. Not a guy I've owned a lot this offseason, but now a guy I think I'm going to be owning more and more of to start the season. A guy I have been growing on. Maybe Gallup as well. Due to the news that Gallup won't start on the PUP list, I have been getting higher on him yet again. So we are going to take Gallup here most likely, actually. Because we can wait on our tight end too. We already have Goddard, who's a serviceable tight end 1. So that's what we're going to do here. That's what we're going to do. I think that's probably the right move, especially with Kirk Cousins still on the board. I mean, we can afford to wait then. Kirk Cousins, not that sexy ceiling type pick. I mean, hasn't had the rushing upside in a long time, but that floor, I mean, his floor is so good. His floor is so, so good. We have the same exact team build as this guy, except I like our team better. But of course I do. I mean, it makes sense. I drafted this team. I'm obviously going to like the players I like more. But we're going to go with Gallup here. a guy I'm totally fine with taking a risk on. If the Dallas Cowboys offense clicks and Gallup is the wide receiver 2, that's a huge steal here. McKenzie, wow, McKenzie's climbing up these boards. I actually didn't even realize how high McKenzie was this offseason. DJ Chark coming off the board as well here. We don't pick again until 141 and 148, so we're probably gonna wait. I would say until 165 to try and end up with a Njoku or Hurst here. Njoku will probably be off the board, but like a Hurst type player, just to get our tight end too. As for my quarterback here, let's see if we do have Gibson here, so potentially going with the stack. Nah, I don't really want that though. We do have David Montgomery. We should maybe went with. I think he was off the board anyways. Yep, he was sniped from us, Justin Fields. But we could have gone with the stack there. Other than that, I mean, there's really nobody else we could stack. There's literally nobody else we could stack here unless we want the wide receiver like 5 for for the 49ers here, which we're not going to get. So we're kind of in a position now where we just kind of are going to be hammering these wide receivers any way we possibly can. We don't need any more running backs. Our quarterback situation and tight end situation are fine. They're about league average, which I'm good with. I think Trey Lance could easily be above league average as well if he does have a successful start to his rookie year, which he easily could. I mean, look at him. He's an absolute beast. Jahan Dotson's still on the board. I mean, this guy got first-round draft capital right here. I will gladly take Jahan Dotson if he somehow makes it back to me. That's just stupid why he's falling this far. I mean, this is a first-round wide receiver. Yes, he's playing for Carson Wentz. I get it. But Romeo Doubs, a fourth-round wide receiver, is going pretty significantly over him. And I'm bought into Romeo Doubs. I just took him over Jahan Dotson. But in this range, I mean, I think why not go with first-round draft capital, mid-first-round draft capital, going over tons of other NFL caliber wide receivers here. And reports at a training camp are that Carson Wentz likes Jahan Dotson. He's a primary target. Jahan Dotson finally coming off the board at pick 135. Why not buying a first-round draft capital, you know? They clearly like him. Now we're kind of in a position where, again, there really is no talent. We can't go with Irv Smith here because buy situation. We might go with the Freiermuth here. I think that's probably fair if he somehow makes it back to us. Because I think Freiermuth is a guy, I mean, he did have a lot of touchdowns last year, not a lot of yards, but it should go up, you know, going into his second year as a tight end, you usually tend to get more and more and better and better. Maybe we go with we're going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. Not a guy I've taken too often. Does have a good rushing floor, and it's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a guy picked first overall for a reason. I will gladly take him here, honestly. Exactly at his ADP too, so I don't have to worry about reaching on this type of player. And then maybe KJ Hamler in the next round, probably. Brian Robinson is very sad to say. Yeah, no timeline to return. I can't blame him. Good spirits though. I really, really hope he's okay. Maybe with the last pick of the draft, he's interesting just to root for. And also just the guy, you know, I want to root for personally now because it's a great story in terms of the fact that, you know, if he does come back and recover from this, that's just awesome. That's phenomenal. Shows tons of grit and perseverance here. So just a player that I now want to root for, even as a Giants fan. I do. So that we're probably gonna end up going KJ Hamler here, most likely. I think KJ Hamler is probably the pick here. Nobody else I really want. Maybe Nico Collins could be interesting because he's a wide receiver 2 here, pretty much guaranteed. But I like KJ Hamler. I mean, I would rather have the wide receiver 3 in what projects to be one of the best offenses in the entire league than the wide receiver 2 in one of the most doggy offenses in the entire league. That's my take personally. And if somebody like Sutton or Judy goes down, KJ Hamler ascends and will become pretty much God. A god tier pick where he's going right now. So I like KJ Hamler. I'm fine with him here. I'm actually really fine with him here. But now in the next round, we do have to get one more tight end here, and then we're just going to be getting all wide receivers here for the rest of the draft. 189, 196, 213. We're just going to be getting these wide receivers. We'll probably have a 2-4, 10, 2-4-10-2 build, most likely. Maybe we could even go with 3 tight ends here, potentially. I think maybe I should be doing that more just because the tight end position is just so terrible, you know? Tight end position is so freaking bad, unless you get one of these top guys, that it might be worth it to go and try and get 3 tight ends now. I don't know what the advance rates are on that exactly. I don't know if it's better or worse. To take 3 tight ends here, I would have to look at last year. The problem with the advance rates is they differ so much from year to year because, I mean, year to year, you're going to have one set of players doing one thing, right? Like David Njoku last year will put up, or David Njoku this year will put up 500 yards, or he'll put up like 1,000 yards. But he's doing exactly what he's going to do for every single roster every time in 2022, but could do something completely different in 2023, something completely different in 2024, which will mess with the advance rates, and every single one of these players will be in that situation. So I think advance rates are helpful in some ways, but in other ways, I don't really think it's worth it to look too much into them, just because it's so different from year to year. I mean, like let's say 2021, you get Wan'Dale Robinson, your advance rates, or you in 2022 you get Wan'Dale Robinson, your advance rates are insane because he's such a beast. Next year he goes up, drafted in the 3rd round, and you take him there, and your advance rates are low because he's being overdrafted. That's pretty much my philosophy with advance rates. I mean, they're going to fluctuate so much from year to year with different types of strategies, and also with injuries. Let's say you want to go really wide receiver heavy, and your first 4 wide receivers are my first 4 wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Hollywood Brown, Chris Godwin, Romeo Doubs. And these Jamar Chase, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and Chris Godwin all end up getting injured. I mean, this team's basically done. And wide receiver heavy strategy then looks bad because a lot of top wide receivers got injured. Uh, so I think advance rates are very heavily based on something like that, and like I think they are useful, but I think they're a useful tool, not the end all be all. That's my philosophy on it. Here we are in a position where we potentially might get Njoku, but the odds look low because this guy doesn't have a tight end and Kool-Aid doesn't have a tight end. This guy is Deshaun Watson though. Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers. Definitely an interesting pairing. We get Gerald Everett off the board as well, and Njoku coming off. We're gonna go probably Alec Pierce here. Most likely, I think Alec Pierce is probably the move. Pierce, and then I mean I'll reach a bit on Hurst just because I like him. Van Jefferson coming off the board at 162. Actually, I don't even know where he's going at right now exactly in terms of ADP. Where is he going? 171, so a little bit for reach. A guy I maybe would have considered my next pick after that. A guy I do like, I mean, because he will be getting some deep bombs. But we're going to go with Alec Pierce here. A guy who has pretty much won the number 2 job in Indianapolis, according to all reports. So I'm fine with taking a chance on that. I mean, the wide receiver number 2 this late seems fine to me. It seems really fun to me, actually. So we're going to take him. And then Zay Jones, potentially, because we do have Trevor Lawrence here. So we're going to take Zay Jones here, actually, I think. Over a guy like Hayden Hurst, just because we do have Trevor Lawrence here. And if Zay Jones does end up popping off, I'm fine getting a little stack here, a little late round stack. But we'll see. And then we would have 8 wide receivers. We will need to get another tight end, like a Brevin Jordan type in the next round. Brevin Jordan, a guy I really, really like late. But he's been crawling up these boards. I mean, it is a little scary. He's been coming up these boards a lot. It's not hard to see why. I mean, he's pretty much just walking into volume. But this late, I think he's definitely a value here. I mean, I don't know why he's going as late as he is. Aside from the fact that the team is awful, he is walking into guaranteed volume. And that's good enough for me at the tight end position in the last round. David Bell coming off the board. And he did show promise as a rookie as well. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what his stat line is, but he did show some promise. Possible slot filling. Wow, I actually didn't even read that. That's pretty interesting. So we'll see exactly what happens with Brevin Jordan, but I think he's a fine pick where he's going. I'm hoping for Zay Jones, though. A guy who has been showing a lot of promise in camp. Zay Jones coming off the board. All right, screw that. We're going Hayden Hurst. And then I'm going to call it a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. The whole shebang. It really would mean the world to me. You could always change your mind later. But leave a comment. Let me know your potential sleepers for this season. And as always, have a good day, a good night, and a good life.